Hi, Jules here, and welcome back to Jules FM, part 2 of my conversation with Dave Griffin. If you haven't listened to part 1, go back and check it out. It's an awesome story of how Dave, who is a very successful businessman, is also fulfilling his life's goal as an author. And he shares what that's taken, how he's incorporated that into his life, and how by just being open to possibilities, he has had the most extraordinary experiences. But we pick up here with him explaining what his ideal life could look like. So if you were to define right now, you've said that you'd love to be a New York bestseller. And I know you're involved in a documentary at the moment to do with the race as well. It's clearly you've got this very creative streak to you. Would that be an ideal life if you were living that like author, doco?
Yes, yes. I hope my employers don't see this.
No, that's not to say you don't love what you do. Like I'm with you, but
Yeah,
I think so many of us have these passions that are within us that we can, and like I love that you're doing something at least on the side. Do you know what I mean? Like you're
yeah.
fulfilling that part of you in some way. It doesn't have to be all because that's not practical. I get that. But I guess I'm just saying if we were to entertain what a dream life looked like.
I think you're right. It would be, yes. I just like stories. I like sitting talking to people. And I actually I don't like writing controversial stories. I like people reading their story and feeling good. And if people are emotionally changed, if it emotionally challenges them, whether it makes them happy or sad or confronted or they learnt more, I'm really happy. I'm happy with that. So I think you are right. And it's a good message and I'm hearing you. So even though this is a podcast and you're supposed to be interviewing, you're challenging me with some of your suggestions, which is great. And I will walk away thinking about this for a while. And you are right. I had another friend of mine who was a captain of a VFL club. When I finished at Sydney, I went and played VFL for a bit. And he's a great mate. And he says the same things. We had dinner last week. He's a teacher. He's a teacher and works. He's an Eastern Suburbs champion of the game. Every person in the Eastern Suburbs knows this guy. And so we don't catch up that often. But he says the same thing. He said, when you talk about the stories and people, you light up. There's something in that. I know there is. Now, so I saw him last week. I'm talking to you. This is almost like we're over having a coffee anyway. So talking to you about it. So there's a message. And maybe I've got to practice what I preach. I don't know. Not sure.
And again, it might be just everything happens at the right time.
Maybe.
And it's funny. Another parallel though is that having an impact on people emotionally is like, oh my gosh, it is so enticing. I always imagine making these little short clips, little video clips I've seen, human emotions, human interactions, and that people watch them and be inspired or moved somehow. And I think it's why I love going to the movies, because you walk out and you've had some emotional change, like you feel touched by them. And
I love that.
yeah, and the same with the
But that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah,
Do you cry in movies? Do you cry in
all the
movies?
time. I cry in an ad. I cry in,
I love that.
But it's oh my God, it's amazing though, isn't it? Like
It is. I think empathy is for me. It's my superpower, but it's my kryptonite. I have this funny thing, and I talk to Belinda about this all the time, is because she has a unique ability to cry and talk. I cry and make burbling, gurgling sounds. I can't talk. So I try. It's very difficult for me to control my emotions and talk. It was the other night. I got quite emotional about something the other night at the launch, and I struggled to talk. I was actually surprised myself. I managed to get words out, which was great. But I think emotion's great. But I've still, being a mid-50s guy, I still deal with, the old male toxic, stiff upper lip stuff, and I still deal with that. But I am an emotional guy, and my kids know that, and they see me cry all the time. Not all the time, but sometimes. But I still have deep down this hey, I've got to be better than that. I've got to be strong, because that's how I grew up. So, and a lot of males deal with that. We all, particularly my era and friends around me, we deal with that.
Yeah. Do you think it's that empathy and that connection you have, did that influence the people you chose to include in your book?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. There's an energy exchange, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like this. There's a great energy with you. I felt it a couple of weeks ago when we first met. And for those listening on the podcast, we met at the launch. So Jules and I met at the launch, which was lovely of her to come up to stall and see it and help. By the
It
way,
was awesome.
thank you.
I did very little.
We needed everyone to help.
You had it well under control, just saying.
I didn't. Oh my God, I didn't. Look, emotion is an awesome thing. I find controlling it difficult. That's all. That's my piece. And but it is to actually be with someone and feel energy like I'm feeling from you, this is a really nice discussion from Belinda, from the other people in the book. I met people that didn't get in the book.
Yeah, of
I
course.
just didn't feel it. They have a great story. Like there's a couple that didn't get in, which are unbelievable, but it just didn't work for me.
Okay.
So I think maybe I'm my own filter. I don't know. Not sure. Maybe.
Why didn't
maybe
they
I can't
work?
write.
Also, what?
The story was great. There's two I'm thinking of. The story was great, but it just didn't. Maybe I didn't connect with them like I normally do. Maybe it was a timing thing. Maybe we were both in the wrong space. I don't know. Not sure. But something didn't work. It's not to say I can't go back again.
Yeah.
Because one of them is a triple premiership player and a beautiful bloke. Just didn't work at that time. So I might revisit it. We'll see. Yeah.
You got some more books in you, do you think?
I hope so. I think this, I've surprised myself to be honest. As much as this book is different, there's, it's called That Race, and it's about a race and 7 women, which I love the fact it's a celebration of 7 great women, not just Kathy. Yeah. But there's a bunch of other stories in there. So it's as I said before, it's metaphorical in addition to the fact we're an analysis of a race. So, it's a bit, it's a different book. So it's almost been cobbled together a little bit, but I think it's okay. I think it's not.
It's fantastic.
It's a bit like, it's not perfect. It's imperfect. So am I. It's just what it is.
Absolutely.
It's almost like the 200 odd people we had in that room, all country footy ground, healthy people coming together in a sport that's about everybody. Everyone can take part in professional running if they work hard. Everybody, irrespective of talent. That's me. It's a community thing. So this book is really about community, and there's lots of different avenues and lots of different things to look at and absorb.
There is, but I mean, the thread is there. The thread is the stories behind the story, sort of thing.
Yes.
And it's really rich and it's so insightful. So the thread is there. And,
wow.
It's lovely. How did you choose the charities that you wanted to donate proceeds? And I'll just clarify. So far 3 books and 3 different all proceeds from each book have gone to a different charity.
Yes, correct. So I don't know. I think when I did the first book was called Everyday Heroes. It was more, I just had an affinity with this. I couldn't believe the kids were living on the street. 12-year-old kids were living under a bridge.
Yeah.
And I may have met someone and spoken to them and they just brought this issue to light for me, and the light went on. So I just chose. I called them and said, would you like us to raise money? They helped, the first charity. The second one was interesting. I set up an actual charity, which was like, I learned a lot about charities, and it was the 4 Words Foundation. So the second one was so the foreword to your life was to get positive mentors into schools and get them to speak to them. So, we raised some money, and I got the charity up, and it's heavily laden with red tape. I mean, I learned a lot. I'm not a red tape guy. I'm, in a lot of ways, that creative that sort of flies up here with the ideas, but really need great support. That the detail-oriented people that get stuff done. Yeah. And I'd certainly need that. So we did that. We got the Nike CEO and some AFL players into schools, and we did that. But inevitably, we had to disband it. And I took all the money out and donated that to victims of domestic violence, a female refuge, which was about 65 grand. And this one it's basically a charity that's aligned with Kathy. So I've learnt a lot about, it's an Indigenous charity. It's a Julia Foundation, Tracy Westerman, who's got a great story. It's just, I've learned a lot about our Indigenous history, First Peoples. I've got a reasonable appreciation for the fact that we've got the oldest culture in the world, 60,000 years. And and I don't think we celebrate it like we should, Jules. I think we
I
could be,
agree.
as a community, a lot better at celebrating this terrific race of people that we have. So there's a connection. There's Kathy. I learned a bit through Kathy. So I decided to. It's all author proceeds. So the publisher, I'm still convincing him to donate some money. That'll be a slow process, I think, but I think he will. He's a great guy. But all my proceeds go to the Julia Foundation. Yes.
That's incredible. Now, of these amazing people that you interviewed, there were some inspiring stories. Were there any that really just had a great impact on you?
You could say all of them, right?
Yeah.
But they all, to a certain degree, do. William Hadlow is the guy I interviewed 14 years ago. So I was doing the documentary on the boxer, and Will had a record of, I can't quite remember, I think it was 7 wins and 25 losses, which is not great in the boxing world. And boxing world it hurts.
Yeah.
So it's a hurt sport. So I just wanted to know originally why Will fought. Why?
Yeah.
So I got introduced to him, and he's a ripping bloke. He's a great guy, and I got so someone gave me his number. I got multiple people ended up getting in touch with him. I called him on the phone. He lived up in Queensland, and I just met up with him, and we filmed him, strangely enough. But his story was not about boxing. His story was about survival. He went through the foster homes in Queensland, and he had some great tragedy with his family. And he tells this great story. Can I tell this story a little bit?
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
He has he's got pictures on him, tattoos, which makes you very tough. When you got tattoos, makes you very tough. He has roses on his face. He's got a big rose the size of a dinner plate under on his neck. He's on his hands, and he says to me, I guess we're talking in the middle of the conversation. He says, I guess you want to know what the roses are about. And I did. I said, I do. And he said, do you know much about horticulture? And I said, not really. He said, well, roses, I've got to use one little swear word.
That's fine.
Can I do that? It's not a big one, it's a little one. He said, roses need a lot of fertiliser. And I'm looking at him, so I'm trying to think, where's this going? He said, I've come from shit and I want to be a rose. So it was the most articulate thing I'd ever heard. It was beautiful. So Will Hadlow, I've learned a lot about Will. Great guy. And he's got a master's he did his nursing degree. I think he's got a master's in nursing now. He's brilliant. He's great. We keep in touch, which is lovely. But I learned a lot about all of them. Belinda Duarte really taught me about First Peoples and our Indigenous history, which is lovely. And I met a group of 70 and 80-year-old women who were at the Munich Olympics. I learned about life in the 70s and 80s being an athlete and how terrorism has affected them. So I walk away with these great messages. And another one was the pro runners. The couple of pro runners, which is Goldie Heath, who won the 1933 Store Gift, trained the 1946 Store Gift winner island in Ngambia Lake. So I don't know, they're all pretty special to me, but boiling it down, I probably think Will Hadlow was the one, because he was the anchor that got the project done, I think.
Yeah, right. And they're all leaving some sort of legacy, which makes you wonder, what legacy would you like to leave?
Oh, you're good at this, Jules, aren't you? I don't know. Wow. I don't know. I think it's just when anyone remembers me, maybe, or my kids remember me, Dad had a go. I think that's it. I just want to have a go, and I like celebrating people. So I think maybe that's it. But maybe I've got to come back. Maybe I can send you an email or something, and you can mention it in another podcast or something. But
it's evolving.
It's a good question. It's a great question, because I think we do. I think you're leaving a legacy with what you're doing. I think when we're conscious of what we do and we reflect, that's what you're doing. So you've reflected on your life and you go, hey, I'd like to do this. I've done the same thing. I've reflected, I'd like to bring these stories to life in the way that I am, similar to you.
Yeah.
I think that's a question perhaps we ask ourselves when we become reflective and conscious of what we want to do, maybe.
Yeah.
So I haven't really thought of that in the busyness of bringing kids up and paying for mortgages and working. It's not a question I ask myself, but probably is now, I think. I think it is. It's a great question.
Oh, look, I'm with you. It's evolving, isn't it? Also, we do what
It
we do.
does.
We're in the moment, and hopefully, we're having an impact in some ways.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
look, I'm with you. I don't have the answer to that yet, and I think because I keep reflecting and adjusting, and you know what I mean, like making sort of edits along the way. I think to try and improve. So
Yeah. But I think that's a good person, Jules. You're a good person. I think
I
that's a good
try.
person to reflect and look at our behaviour and where we need to be better. I think that's a great person. But that's the evolving piece, isn't it?
We try, don't we? So
We do.
yeah,
We definitely do.
yeah. You've made a documentary, or you're associated around the race, aren't you? What's your association with that? Are you helping to, I know, research, but are you also producing or something as well?
I am producing. So
Yeah.
we've done in line with the book. We've done a documentary called That Race. Strangely enough, it's not connected to the book, but so the Victorian Athletic League supported a young fellow by the name of Didier Lemieux, who's an up-and-coming documentary maker. He's done a fantastic job. I produced it, or produced the piece. I interviewed people.
Yeah,
So
nice.
he was, Didier's this awesome young fellow who's got an up-and-coming business, and he did all the technical piece and set the structure up. I just came in and interviewed. So we had a day where I interviewed Kathy and the other 6 women. We interviewed her coach, and we've interviewed journalists and all that type of thing. So that we're working. I had a conversation today about where that goes now.
Yeah.
So we're talking about that and where we place it. I've got to catch up with Kathy on Thursday to sort of keep her abreast of what's going on. So that was interesting. That's sort of similar to the book in some ways, but different in the sense that you're on camera. Inevitably, I think the best documentaries, you don't hear the person ask the question, it just evolves, which is the way this has been done. But I tell you, when it comes out, I'd love to share it with you. I'll send it
Oh,
through.
I loved the sneak peek we saw at the book
Yeah,
launch. Like I was like, oh, that looks fantastic. And that race is just phenomenal. I
isn't
mean,
it?
what we saw up at stall with Shikari, I want to get her
Yep,
name right.
yep,
I mean, that was almost as impressive, her
it
stall
was.
gift run, wasn't it? Like that
It
was,
was.
but
There's both of them as Kathy Freeman and Shikari are superstars.
yeah.
There's daylight, and arguably Kathy's run in the 400 was as good as it's the best, arguably the best run ever at stall.
Yeah.
It's in her mind, and she's changed her mind a little bit here, but in her mind, it's in her top 2 races ever. I mean, in what world does a 400-meter runner get hit? Like she get hit?
I
She got
know,
hit.
elbow.
And it's interesting. The Jackie Chahady, who was then Jackie Lewis, was the person that gave her the elbow. And unfortunately, a lot of social media pops up around stall, and there's a lot of comments. And poor old Jackie cops it. It is probably normal but pro running behaviour,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
But I was with them when they met. They haven't seen each other for 30 years,
Was there
and
any
it was
animosity?
none. They were beautiful and laughing. And there is a piece in the film where we sit them all together and we show them, they watch the race together, and it's just wonderful.
Yeah.
They laugh, they cry. There was some crying, but they're all hugging. It's just a beautiful thing. So inevitably, this is a great race, and it's a celebration of probably in the top 5 athletes Australia's ever
Oh,
produced. But
amazing.
it's a celebration of a community race. It's a celebration of another 6 women who all, and in the book we sort of uncover to a small degree their life and what they do and their feelings and their thoughts. It's a celebration of really what's a community event, which became really important to Australian history. The Store Gift was once as important as the Melbourne Cup. And
Yeah.
it's as culture evolves and sports have become big, AFL's big and soccer's big, and this little niche sport probably hasn't kept pace. I'm sure
Yeah.
everyone would agree, but it holds cultural and historical significance. And Kathy's 30-year anniversary of her winning is a really nice celebration of that. It's a nice celebration of a sport that came from the goldfields. You know, your forefathers and maybe mine probably raced each other, you know, in the 1800s in the goldfield, and they got cash, pigs, and gold as prizes. So I love that connection as well. Really love that connection.
Absolutely.
And I think too, Kathy loves the fact that, because a lot of professional running events are, you know, in country towns, and they're country people. She loves that. She's a country person, and it connects to me too. I'm a country guy, so it's just a nice synergy, I think.
That kindred spirit and that energy exchange.
I think that's it. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I wonder what, last question for you. Well, actually,
That's
second
okay.
one.
This is great.
I'm wondering what is going to be the topic of your next book.
This is talking to the publisher. I think it is potentially about more connections to that book. Strangely enough,
Wow,
there's a bit of work
awesome.
to do.
To the race,
And
that race.
yes,
Yeah,
there could be an
nice.
extension on that. You know, if we had more time, what would we like to do? So there's other versions of that. We've actually spoken about making this a little bit of a series.
Awesome.
So I don't know how that looks, but the conversation's certainly there. So I promise when we decide what we're going to do, you'll be the first to know. I
I would
promise.
love to. Yeah. Come
But,
back on and talk to us about it. That'd be fantastic.
there will definitely be something else, though, definitely, because I think I enjoyed the process, and I've got a really great publisher who can adhere and is happy to listen to my silliness and my crazy ideas, I think.
It
Because
sounds like,
he's just as creative and crazy too, I think.
I was going to say, it sounds like your publisher is exactly the right person you need right now. It sounds like they're right in your corner and fully supportive of everything you do. That's amazing.
He is, but it's interestingly enough, though, we argue over things. We argued over the
good.
what was on the back cover, what was on the front cover, and I won a couple, but not all. He won most of them because he knows books. He knows books and knows how to sell books. So I've got to acknowledge the fact that, hey, this is a new thing for me. And just because it's a pretty cover doesn't mean it's going to sell. So there's a commercial reality that I've had to learn, and he's certainly taught me that. And look, I'd love to. It's Wilkinson Publishing. If people are listening, just Google them.
Yeah.
He put my author bio up maybe 4 weeks ago. I actually got emotional. Like, this was a thing. I've never, like, it's, you know, when you have something. I recall my sister crying, and there's a picture of me, and there's some words. And it's in the author section, like a real live author. I said, hey, oh my God, it's like, I don't know. It's the little things, Jules, isn't it? It's the little things.
It is. You are a real live author. You've done 3 books now.
It's amazing. Thank
I
you.
know. And
Thanks.
it's such a cool thing to change your perspective of yourself and to actually see yourself in a different identity. And I think you need to embrace it. You are an author.
I'm trying to. I'm definitely. I'm coming on board. I'm on board. And I think you've challenged me in this conversation too. I think that, you know, what's the next period look like? Why not? I think that's why not me? I don't know.
Yeah. Look, I'm
Anyway, we'll
asking you
see.
questions that I ask myself all the time. Like, why not? Why can't I? You know?
I think they're good questions. I think what you're doing is awesome. And you know what? It's going to work. This will work. Just remember the little guys. When you're the number one podcast in 2 years' time, and everyone's talking about you, and you're on free to air, and please remember the little guys.
Well, hopefully it translates to good book sales as well. Then
That's what we need. Thank you. We can work together. There's something here.
That's exactly right. This is my very last question for you. Is there anything that we haven't covered that I haven't asked that you would love to share?
Look, there's lots of things. I think what I'd like to leave on is that I'm not great at stuff, and I'm not. But there's only one. I bounce. That's the only. If it doesn't work for you, just try again. If it doesn't work, it's not. It doesn't mean because it hasn't worked, it's not the end. So I think with and I do get quite emotional about this. I don't really know how this door opened and this happened, but it has, and I'm really proud of the people that came around me to help. My family and some great friends, have made this happen. And I just, the message would be to just hang 10. Just if you believe in it, do it. Just bounce. Find another way around the brick wall. You don't have to go through it. go over it, under it, around it, loop in good people, talk to people, learn from people, find somewhere to light your fire. I think that's the thing too. We've got to find, I think all of us have to find someone or something that motivates us, because there are low spots. It's not all glowy. It's not glowing, I should say. So I think that's probably the last thing I'd say. Just keep at it. Just keep at it.
It's such a great, perfect message to end on. And Dave, thank you so much for finding your light and actually doing what you do, sharing such amazing stories, because I think there's so much in there for people to listen, to learn from and be touched by, and understand that, like, it's what goes on behind. That's the richness in life, and it's the stuff that we don't always see, but that is what makes this world go round. And thank you so much for continuing to share that with us, and
That's
for
very
the
kind.
ones to come as well.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. I've had fun. This is great fun. I think we should do one thing. I think you should let me interview you.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do that. Let's give it a period of time.
Okay.
Let me get through this bit. I would
Yep.
love to interview you, but on your podcast.
Okay, I think that's a
Deal?
fantastic idea. It's a deal.
Done. Let's do that.
I love that. All right, you let me know when suits, and I'm up for it.
That'd be great, Jules. It's been really great fun. Thank you.
Thanks for joining me again on today's show. I really appreciate you taking the time and choosing to listen to this show. Hopefully it is a good reminder that it really can look different for everyone. And although we all have different goals and dreams, the way we go about them also changes depending on our circumstances and who we are. But no matter what your goal is, or what your dream is, or what your heart wants you to do, hopefully you're finding a way to pursue that in some capacity. Thanks again for listening. Until next time.